Good evening and welcome to the City of Sebastian Planning and Zoning Commission meeting Thursday, June 1st at 6 p.m. meeting in the City Council Chambers, 1225 Main Street, Sebastian, Florida. First order of business would be the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have the roll call for attendance, please?
Mr. Roth?
Here.
Mr. Simmons?
Present.
Ms. Kottenberger is excused. Mr. Carter?
Present.
Mr. Reyes is excused. Mr. McManus?
Here.
Mr. Kieselbosch?
Here.
Mr. Hugen?
Here.
Mr. Alvarez?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we do have a quorum. In the absence of the two members, Mr. Simmons is going to be voting tonight, and Mr. Hugen is going to be voting tonight. Are there any modifications or changes to the agenda the commissioners wish to make at this point? Hearing none. I would like to recognize, we have 4 young men with us here in the back row who are from the Sebastian Boy Scout Troop 505, and their leader. They're working on a communications project. And we thank you for coming and good luck on your project. The next item on the agenda would be the review and approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of April 20th, 2017. It's been distributed to the commission members. Are there any corrections that need to be made to those minutes? No. If not, we'll have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as stated for April 20th meeting.
Second.
We have 2 seconds on that. That's good. Okay, let's do it by roll call. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved as submitted with no changes. There is no quasi-judicial meeting hearing tonight. Dory, do we need to swear in at this point those who are going to be giving testimony since it's on a...
No, only at a hearing. At a quasi-judicial hearing are they sworn in.
Okay, thank you. So we can then proceed with the review of the plan that's submitted. Is there someone here representing the owner to present the plan? Would you please come forward and give your name and address, please?
Jim Houston, 708 West Fisher Circle, Sebastian.
I'm Mike with Valentino Builders. I'm the contractor.
Oh, okay. And could you explain the project and where it stands at this point as far as timetable?
We have building a garage workshop of about 750 square feet. We have HOA approval on it, and we've actually done nothing up to this point, waiting for you people.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
But you did get the approval of the HOA, which is also,
Yes.
it's good, customary. The plan calls for this to be set on the on the, would be the back of the lot on the, would be the southern part of the lot. So the HOA approved it, so there were no questions from their point of view as far as loss of sight view or anything like that?
None. The only questions they had was on the roof not matching. I could put a metal roof on, and after some debate, they did approve it that way.
Okay.
If I may ask, Mr. Chairman, is that with the understanding that you're going to be replacing the existing roof with a metal roof?
Yes, the house was re-roofed after the storms in '05. The roofers that have looked at it said it's probably good for another 2, 3, 4 years. At that time, we could put the metal roof on it too.
Okay.
Could we at this point have the staff review of the project? And then we'll have questions from the commissioners.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioners, this is a request for a 25 by 30-foot detached garage, and because of the size, it is before you for your approval. As you can see in our staff report, it meets all of the requirements with regards to setbacks. It was over 400 square feet, so it had to meet the regular rear setback of 25 feet, which it does. It is not over the 1,000 square feet that's maximum allowed. It's not higher than the house. As part of the contractor's packet, I did highlight some information that I thought you would like to see with regards to the extension of the driveway. It's going to be a paver driveway from the existing concrete driveway. It'll be a paver driveway back to the new structure. There is going to be textured finish and banding around the doors to match the existing house. That's kind of required of our code. And there is in your packet, a picture of the existing house. So you can see where those architectural embellishments will match. Under the existing additional considerations, staff did want to bring forward about the matching roof. At this point, it should pretty much match the house. This is not a metal building. We're always grateful for a custom garage coming in, so we don't have to worry about the ribbing or looking metal. This is going to be a custom garage. The only thing that won't match will be the shingles versus metal roof, and that would be up to your consideration if you wanted to allow that. I believe the homeowner stated there's probably about 3-4 more years left on the shingle roof on the house. And not that we can put a condition on his house that he has to have the metal roof, but consideration that they would probably put a metal roof on the house when a new roof was done. Also, too, I pointed out that the house was built in '94, so it's grandfathered in with those landscape codes, so I don't believe, and we did not get into how many existing trees are on the property. The code is specifically, before I did the staff report, I had mentioned to the contractor about needing required shrubs around the garage. As I'm doing the staff report, it's very clear that it's 751 square feet and above is the required landscape. So it was just as a discussion item to throw out. Maybe the homeowner's already going to put some landscaping around the garage. In consideration that we might not have the 15 trees, this would at least bring them up a little bit closer to compliance with current codes. Staff recommends approval of the structure, conditional on your decision on the roofing and landscaping.
Thank you. I don't have any questions of the staff at this point. Do any of the commissioners have any questions of the staff as far as?
Yes, couple small questions. What is the width of existing driveway? Any rough ideas? What is there?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What is the width of the existing driveway? I know you're making a 10 feet wide going to the garage. My next question is there's a couple palm trees, so hopefully they won't be affected, right?
No, there's 3 palm trees and a fairly good-sized philodendron that will be in front of the garage, and those will.
But they will stay there?
They will stay, sure.
Okay,
The driveway is wide enough to park 2 cars side by side.
okay.
The driveway going back will be slightly narrower.
So you will jog it to the garage, that's what you're
Yeah,
saying?
right.
Okay. And so what's going to be the well condition? You're going to remove the well, existing well? There's an existing well there?
We've already moved the well,
Okay.
yeah.
And the garage itself will be no air conditioned there, right? It will be unconditioned, no air conditioned space?
Correct, there's no.
So there's no air conditioning there?
No air conditioning, no.
Okay, it's simply workshop and garage. Okay, that's it.
I have a question. Dory, you said we could make a condition on the roof? Because they want to put metal on this garage, but the house is shingles. But eventually, you're going to redo the roof.
Correct.
And you're going to make it metal. Can we put a condition? I mean, what guarantee do we have that the metal roof will go on?
That's what I was bringing point. I don't believe you could legally put a condition on what type of roof goes on the house.
Okay.
So it's your decision to either approve the detached garage as submitted with the metal roof, or if you can put the condition on approval of the garage if you require shingles on the garage. But I
Okay.
don't think we can put a condition on for 3-4 years down onto the house that it put a metal roof. There's financial considerations, there's other things that legally I
Right.
don't think we can put the condition on. But you can not approve the garage with the metal roof if you want to require the asphalt shingles.
Okay, that clarifies it.
Mr. Carter?
Yes. This looks to be a wonderful project that you have going on. It'll be nice once it's completed. I do have a couple of questions. One consideration Dory touched on a little bit earlier is landscaping around it. Do you plan on, other than the trees that you were just talking about leaving, have any additional foundation plantings or anything?
The other three, the front side of the garage, which has the garage door, will have the 3 current palm trees and the philodendron. The other 3 sides will have shrubbery. We're planning on the south side being Eureka palms. We're planning on the east side being portocarpus, and the north side will be a very variegated shrubbery.
Okay, good. My next question, under Mr. Valentino's, or the Valentino Builders bid, I noticed that it's to be wired and set up for having a keel oven, I take. Is that right, for like models and things of that nature?
Small kiln. One of our hobbies is glass work, and we do some kiln work with the glass.
Will you be selling any of that out of there?
Hey, I'm 72 years old. I'm done.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's more of a hobby than a business
Oh,
per
yeah,
se.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't prevent you from making it there and taking it elsewhere and selling it. but-
It's just for our own use.
And you don't want it air conditioned.
We're putting a couple of fans in, and hey, the pool's right next to the door, so
Okay.
if it's that hot, I'm not working.
I'm sorry for the little diversion there. Commissioners have any questions?
Yeah, it's more of a statement than a question. I think the outline that Mr. Valentine gave us here is the most complete of any that I've seen come before the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Alvarez?
I have
or
no questions,
Simmons?
no. No.
I have no questions either.
If I understand it right, Dory, there's no conditions or requirements for any shrubbery or anything like that in addition to what's already there. Is that correct?
Technically, per code, correct, by 1 foot. It did not meet the threshold for mandatory requirement of shrubs, but as Mr. Houston just talked about, the different types of shrubs that it sounded like they were planning putting around the building voluntarily. So I don't think that would need to be a condition or anything. I think the consideration you need to do is the roofing material. But from a staff's perspective, I think because it is a custom building, it's behind the residential, you're not going to see it so much from the street, and he already has the HOA approval to have the metal roof versus the shingle. Staff recommends that it's okay to have the metal roof on the structure. That would be, again, decision after your discussion for the board.
Okay. Commissioners have any other questions?
I do have one. Do you have a written approval from the HOA?
Yes, we do.
It was in the building permit packet. It was a series of emails. I didn't, I will state for the record, I did see it, and the
Okay.
HOA president did okay. They said as long as it was approved by the city.
Okay. Commissioners have any other questions?
No, we're fine.
Any discussion? Well, if there's no discussion, then we're prepared for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the accessory structure review LDC Section 54-2-7-5 at 708 West Fisher Circle for the detached garage.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, then we're prepared to vote. Let's have a roll call on the vote, please.
Mr. Kieselbosch,
Yes.
Mr. Roth,
Yes?
Mr. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Mr. Hugan,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Is that, I didn't hear it, McManus, right?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez,
Yes.
your motion passes.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, you're set to proceed.
Thank you,
And
sir.
good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Good
And
planning,
you're,
good
thank you.
planning, enjoy it.
Just a side note to our young men from Troop 505. That's how we like to see business conducted in the city of Sebastian. A resident came in with a plan and a very well-organized plan from the contractor, and very few questions, everything was fine, and that's how the city of Sebastian works. We like to say yes, but we also are very attuned to the zoning ordinances and other procedures and policies that we have to follow. So thanks very much, fellows, for coming. We appreciate it, and good luck on your project. Back to our agenda, commissioners' matters. Are any of the commissioners have a matter to bring before us at this point? And gosh, the city attorney can't say anything because he's not here.
Well, that's what I was going to make some, I had some commissioner matters, but the attorney's not here, so I don't think,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
we'll wait for the next meeting.
Okay.
Something I
Staff,
can bring to him? Through
Well,
staff?
sure, I got a whole bunch, but I'm just going to be short. We're still having problems with, on Barber Street, these vehicles being sold there.
I'm sorry, what was being sold out of the?
Vehicles,
Vehicles.
cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That one address?
Well, I got 1867 and 1655. The one gentleman on 1655, he reminds me of when I lived in Hialeah, that they had 3 cars in the front, and the guy's mechanic, has a mechanic. And the other day I passed by there, and sure enough, he's got a car out there, and he's working on another car. And to me, he's conducting business there. And so what I wanted to discuss with the attorney is if there's any way we can do, or is there an ordinance or anything to the effect that we can stop that? Or
Well, I do know, if it's the same properties, I will check again with the code enforcement officer. There is a current code in place that states all vehicles on your property have to be registered and insured and tagged to someone at the house. So if it's a family, teenager, but it has to be registered and insured. So I will check again. I understand the last time he said that those cars are being bought and the owner is registering them in his name. Now, if he is repairing them under him and then selling them, I'll check into that on how far that
because
ordinance goes.
I know we had a problem with the gentleman in, was it Nevada or something, in Barber, and I haven't seen him anymore doing that. Of course, the police officer moved across the street. So, but just these two, every time you go there, you see them cars there,
What were the addresses again?
One of them is 1867, and the other one is 1655.
Okay.
And, constant problem.
And also, there's a code in place, you certainly can't, that type of vehicular maintenance type of business is not allowed at your house. You certainly can get certain.
And I can understand if you have a vehicle, you want to sell it, of course, you have it there. But when you're constantly selling vehicles, you know, you're doing business.
Right.
You know, that's
And they're
that's
for
a
sale on the
given.
lot? For sale on the lot, we'll look into that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's right this main road of the city, the only road that we have. And before you know it, you're going to have, you know, you started with one, we stopped them, now you got two more.
I will get the code enforcement up-to-date information
Please.
back to you.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Mr.
No,
Simmons,
that's it
Alvarez?
for today. That's it for today.
Mr. Carter?
Yes, and it's not a complaint, it's just a recommendation. On the packets that we received, it seems like it was a little bit more difficult to cipher through with everything not being in order. And I was wondering if we can go back to having like the agenda separate, and at least in the packet that I received, everything was kind of jumbled up.
Okay.
And it was better when we had everything separate as to what was, you know, what was pertinent to that particular
Yes.
meeting.
We have a zoning technician in training, so
Okay.
I'm working with her on the packets, and, yeah, so you want as we usually do, rubber band each item on the agenda, separate minutes?
Yeah, because that worked. That way you can separate, go through it instead of having to flip through. I know I was going through the agenda for today, then the next thing was, you know, going through part of the program, or the minutes of last week, too. So,
Yes, we certainly can do that.
yeah, thank you.
Good point. Mr. Higgins?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Dory, if maybe you can answer it. When is construction going to start on 512? I see the barricades are out along the edge of the roadway. Do you know?
Definitely a Frank question, but if I remember from the presentation, the county has awarded the bid. I have something in my office that has exact dates. I'll email that out to everyone tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know I definitely know there's a completion date, which I want to say is this fall, and I'm sure they want to get it done before school starts again and season, so
And
I will
that's go-
find that though and
That's
email
going to
it.
be like full reconstruction too, isn't it?
I'm not sure if it was the same as, yeah, they did take it down to the base on the
Okay.
last time, yes. And that'll be a portion of the eastbound, where they ended off last time, and then definitely the westbound, up to, I believe, Roseland Road.
Right, okay.
I will get that information and email it to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Dory, since you have the floor, any staff matters? I see there is one.
I just wanted to follow up. I know we had talked about, I was thinking that it was of the commissioner's request to review the whole Article 21 for the overlay districts. I know then also too, Mr. Roth, you had talked about putting together a packet that we could hand out to developers. I did mention it to the city manager. He had requested me to, bring it before city council. I think that's how we had left it, that I would request that they were good with this, so that before we jumped into it full time. Since we've had that discussion, though, I did want to let you know that we've had quite a few applications come in for site plans, and I've had a lot of due diligence calls on some larger projects that are going to come in. And we have, through the budget, we are requesting some additional staff, a possible director, which I think would bring in a lot of new ideas. And so I was respectfully requesting that we maybe put this on hold until the new budget year begins, and allow staff to jump into the site plans to get those before you. Because it is going to be, there are a lot of sections of that Article 21 that I think we do want to review and tweak up to what we know in the past has worked and what hasn't. If you're okay with waiting on that, certainly if you would still like to jump into it this summer, tentatively, fingers getting wet, and I can get that together for the next meeting, but I wanted to run that past the commission to see your direction to staff on that.
I would be okay with that. I think you know some of the hot button items that we're thinking about for that concept that we wanted to convey. And the only thing I would ask, if there are plans that come in, commercial plans that come in that riverfront district, that you could pass that along without it being a definite stipulation, but just kind of encourage them to take those steps. I don't know if there's anything like that in the works right now coming
Well,
up.
I know
but-
that some of the, that we had wanted to work is we wanted to take out some of the words that suggests and change, you know, the overlay has a lot of sections that say, we suggest this, or these, you know, we like to see this, where I think the board felt we wanted to make those more definite requirements. There's been a lot of waivers on the landscaping, so we wanted to kind of tighten that up too with regard to
Right.
the foundation landscaping. So, of course, that's all still, staff certainly works with the developers as they come in. I'm familiar with what you guys have liked in the past and have requested. They certainly have the option to still request the waiver until that section is changed in the code. Maybe if it's, I know you all have your land development code, but I certainly can print off that section and to give it to you as kind of over the summer to kind of work and start highlighting the areas that you would like to maybe see tweaked or changed. Maybe give that back to staff at the end of the summer, and at least then we can kind of see how many ideas or changes that the board itself has, and maybe the ones that we all agree on is something that we can possibly come this fall, at least get into the code amendments. If that's something, or unless you say, you know what, we don't want any other projects to come through without these changed, we certainly can jump into it.
Well, we have to be respectful of your workload too, and you know better than us sitting here right now what's come in to be approved. So, you know, I think we would use some common sense and yield to that. I for one, I welcome the opportunity to take a look at it and offer my comments. I don't mind some homework, but
I would agree, Mr. Chairman.
That's for myself.
We've had a lot of applicants come to us for variances, et cetera, that we've talked about, and we've mentioned this several different times. I think we need to, as Dory stated, tighten it up. And so there's no ambiguity in some of the things that
Yeah.
cause people to have to come to us. So, but anyway, that's my thoughts.
Well, if we-
I really appreciated when we had jumped into Article 5, the zoning districts, and we
Right.
took 3 or 4 meetings, and they were good discussions. I think we came out with a solid code on our zoning district regulations. And so I want to be able to give that much attention to this article. It's very important for our redevelopment. I just know I do have a lot of developers and plans that are starting to come in that we've got to put our attention to that so we can get those out on a timely basis too. So if the commission is okay with waiting a couple of months before we jump into that.
Yeah, well, adding 18 eyes to take another look at, you know, that in the course of time in the next 2 or 3 months, I'd welcome it. If you can put it together, I'll take a packet.
Sure, I'll see if I can print it off too, so it's double spaced or something where there'll be room to jot some little notes for, as you're reviewing it. We'll get that to you at the next meeting or next packet that we have.
Okay. Any other staff matters?
No, I wanted to update you on the project that, there's 2 projects currently under full construction on the corner of US 1 and Jackson Street, and that project is going along. You can see the buildings going up. The other one is Store Right, the mini storage project on 512. They did have, after the site plan went before you, there were some slight modifications to their building. A couple of them got a little bigger, and we caught this, which is through the form board survey process that the building department has. It turned out that they were a little bit over on the building coverage by 300 feet with these changes to the buildings, and some drive aisles were changed. So staff did work with them. They are eliminating 2 units on one of the buildings, 400 square feet, which dropped them back down to 30%. And the drive aisles have been tweaked a foot. It was, they are in the process of sending in a revised site plan, but because there is no increase to the impervious area, the building dimension, not the dimensions, but the aesthetics of those buildings, nothing has changed, and it is something that we can sign off administratively. I did just want to let you know that there was a modification to that site plan, but they are still under construction, and you can see the walls are going to start going up on those buildings very soon.
Any of the changes be visible from the roads?
No, it's 2 units on one of the buildings that's along Sebastian Crossing Boulevards. It's actually going to less building, there'll be more landscaping, more open space in that area. So the drive aisles were 35 feet wide to begin with, instead of the required 22. It is the aisles that the RVs and the boats would go back to the RV storage, but they're dropping that by a foot. So it wasn't anything that we felt that needed to come back to you formally, and we are signing that off administrative. So I just wanted to let you know, update on that project.
Thank you for your diligence on that and keeping watch on the codes. Do any of the commissioners have any items for the next agenda that you'd like to bring up this time to add to it?
No.
Hearing none, then we could entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that the meeting be adjourned.
You'll second it?
I'll second
Okay,
that.
meeting is adjourned.